Hello, good morning, everyone. I'm sincerely sorry this is coming very, very late. Was not what I planned, but then just have to do it. Sorry about that. It's better late than never. So in this morning, we're going to, I promised to do a short video on the Linux virtual machine, you know, to cover for the long explanation we did last week, because um, we have to explain every aspect in details, which is the first time I'm doing that for you to get it. So this is going to be very short and brief. So on your portal, you can type virtual machine here, virtual machine, and select virtual machine here. You can click on create, and then you type the kind of resources, or you can select virtual machine here. So you can click on create, and then you select virtual machine, which is usually first. So you select your virtual machine. So today we are creating a Linux virtual machine, Ubuntu server. So you scroll down, select your subscription, which is by default usually selected. If you have one subscription, if you have multiple subscription, you click on the drop down and select which of the subscription you want to use. This one has 2 subscriptions, but by default I use the Azure subscription 1. So your resource group, if you have a resource group, click on the drop down and select. If you don't, create a new resource group and call it test Linux VM. Sorry, there shouldn't be space in between. So I'm going to replace it with an hyphen, and then it will be fine. Okay. So I've created my resource group. Give your virtual machine a name. That is the name of your machine. So we call it test Linux VM. Okay. So you can leave the region as default, availability options as default because we are not deploying highly available virtual machines. Leave the security as default. Under the image is by default selecting the Linux virtual machine. You can choose other flavor. This is 20.04. This is 18.04, 22.04, any of it. So I'll leave it at default 20.04. Now, because I'll be accessing the virtual machine, I will increase the vCPU so that it can be faster. For vCPU, 16 gig RAM, it's fine. So we did password. So let me keep it at password for now. We're going to do SSH together in the class. All right, so I'll give it a username, Azure user. Then I'll give you my password at 123, password at 123, and then leave it at port 22, which is SSH. You can, if you want to use Bastion, you can select port 443 and port 8080. So, and you so to us to open those ports, but it is optional, which you don't need. And I guess I should turn it off for now until I need it. So that's all for here. Under the disk, we don't do anything than to just reduce the type of disk to standard SSD. And then we don't do anything again, then go to monitoring, disable diagnostics. So, and that's all. We click on review and create here or down here. So anyone you click on, review and create. So the basic configuration is done. Okay, saying network information missing. So we go to networking. It's already there. So let me just go and review and create because I don't see any issues. Just telling us to confirm that anyway. So there are really no issues. Sometimes it points out some things for you to check in case you missed it. Perhaps you want to create a separate network, which we are going to discuss uh, in our subsequent videos. So my validation has been passed. So I click on create. Except for the waiting time, it really doesn't take time. I think I haven't spent up to 5 minutes now. So okay, it's creating. I don't want to pause the video. Um, standard online video will pause it till it's done. But then I wanted to just see everything uh, as it is. All right, so it's done. So we go to resources. We go to resources. Now to access your VM, you can access it on the Cloud Shell, which is very straightforward. And I don't want it to be that. So another way you can access it is through your PowerShell on your system, so long you have the AZ module installed on it. If you have the AZ module installed on it, you can, it will be easier. Uh, but for now, this system doesn't, this system already has the AZ module on it. So I will show you that in the class while I just use it. So I'll open up my PowerShell. I'll open my PowerShell. Now, all I need is my IP address, which is 172.190.84.64. The command to sign in into your virtual machine. Now, I have not uh, initiated my AZ login. That is my Azure module that I installed on the PowerShell. So let's try and see if it will work. I'll type SSH. Then I'll type my username, which is Azure user at the IP address 172.190.84.64. And then I hit enter. So it's asking me for password. Sorry, my password is password at 123. Enter. So it's asking me yes or no. So I'll type yes. Okay. Password again. Password at 123. So I'm inside my virtual machine now. So let me clear so that you can see clearly. You can see Azure User Test Linux VM. That's the VM I'm in now. So what I can do, this is a Linux VM. You're inside the Linux VM already. The next thing you want to do if you're in a Linux VM is to update your package, your apt package. So you type sudo apt update. So we update all your packages. That's pretty much everything for this video, except you want to also maybe install a web server. Let me just do that. So we just use sudo apt install Nginx. Nginx is a web server. Nginx is a web server. So we install Nginx. Yes. So it's installing. It's installing. Okay, so it's done. Now that it's done, the next thing you can do to start your server, you use uh, another command, which is, let me clear so that you can see at the top. You can use sudo, sorry, you start your Nginx server. We are starting our Nginx server, so we use systemctl, systemctl start Nginx. Password at 123. Okay, so authentication complete. So the next one is we keep our status running by using system status Nginx. So if we look at the status, sorry, systemctl, not system. I'm just systemctl status Nginx. Okay, so it's active and it's running. Now you can check this. Now let's copy our IP address. Just copy this IP address, open a web browser, paste it there, and then you open. Okay, it will not open because we did not open our port 808080. It will not open. So, but you can quickly do that by going back to the Azure portal. Where's the Azure portal now? Here's the Azure portal. I opened it, I closed it back. Let's go back to networking. I'm done with the Linux server since once we got to go to resources and we access the Linux server, that's where the video ends. Then I'm just putting some additional flavor. Create a port rule. So create an inbound port rule. So the source is from anybody, source port range, any port, destination, what's the server. We are opening a HTTPS. Okay, let's do HTTPS. So we'll do HTTP. Let's just do HTTP. So it'll be fine. Allow 310 is okay. And then we click on add. So now that we have created that port, we should be able to access our Nginx server, even though it will not be secure because it's HTTP port that we used. Did I refresh that? Did it work? Let me refresh first. So I've been created. I should need to refresh this first. And then refresh. So our Nginx server is working. So welcome to Nginx. If you see this page, the Nginx web server is successfully installed and working. Further clarification is required, meaning that you need to give this to a web developer to now use it to build a website or a web app or whatever applications you want to build on the web. So that is it for this tutorial, for this training. I hope it has been informative, and I'd like to thank you for listening. Bye for now.